Shrikant,
Huh.
did you know
Huh?
that Infosys stock can be bought on many different stock exchanges like National Stock Exchange, Bombay Stock Exchange, or even New York Stock Exchange?
I am not very well versed with share trading, but I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can it have different prices on the different stock exchanges? Like, when I'm going to buy vegetables, I ask this guy and he says, okay, 25 rupees. And then I ask the next one and see if he's willing to give for 20 rupees and so on. Can you do that?
Ignoring the fact that he just compared stocks to vegetables,
Yeah.
and the only stock I know is vegetable stock. Bad joke.
Yeah.
But then it doesn't make sense to do that, right? If I can buy,
See, if vegetables can be at different prices on different markets,
I'm not going to sell the vegetable back.
are you... Okay, sorry.
I'm going to consume the vegetable with stocks. I'm planning to sell them back eventually. So
Yeah.
if there is a difference in stocks, I can easily make profit right away. Like buy it at a exchange that is selling lower and sell it at an exchange that is buying higher.
You know what?
Uh,
They are on to you. They don't allow such things, right? If you buy a stock on National Stock Exchange, you have to sell it on National Stock Exchange. You're not allowed to sell it on BSE. Did you know that?
I did not know that, but that makes sense. Then
So now, can they be at different prices?
I'm pretty sure they can't be because there is
Why?
because it's the same stock, right?
Well, that's just, you're talking as if it's like, the whole world is logical. It's not.
yeah,
necessarily.
I have no idea. Can they?
Well, the simple thought experiment is this,
Huh.
right? Let's assume that it is at 1350
Huh.
on the NSE,
Okay.
okay, and 1400 on the BSE.
Okay, but I can't sell the NSE
No,
stock
but
on
let's
BSE.
say there are BSE people,
Huh.
people on BSE who have, say, 10,000 shares of Infosys.
Huh.
Why wouldn't they just sell their 10,000 shares at 1400
Huh.
and buy 10,000 shares at 1350 on the NSE? And now they have a cool
5 lakh.
5 lakh rupees profit
Yeah.
for zero risk.
Yeah, because it's at the end of the day, it's a share of Infosys. So
Right.
you're still getting the same share in the company.
Correct, exactly. I mean, when I'm buying bhindi from this guy versus that guy, I can say that this bhindi is better quality. There are no Infosys shares that are better quality when you go into different exchange, right?
Yeah, it
I mean,
doesn't-
technically there are, but not these ones.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense for the
Correct.
share prices to
So-
be different in different exchanges. Even in
So
with
in
that
general,
restriction.
that's the concept we are going to discuss on today's episode. It is called arbitrage.
Oh.
When the exact
Fancy.
same thing is available in two different places
Huh.
for two different prices,
Hmm.
that's called arbitrage. And unless there is a good reason for those prices to be different,
Huh.
that means that you can buy here, sell there at the same time and make risk-free money.
What I've noticed is usually when the prices are different, then the products are also different.
Correct.
If the products are the same, the prices are also usually the same.
Correct. They have to be.
Yeah.
Because if they are not, then someone somewhere will figure this out, and they will find a way of making money without any risk, right? And they will go and make money, like.
Yeah, because business at the end of the day is buy low and sell high.
Correct. So in fact, there are some great examples of this in history.
Okay.
Okay, so the first Ponzi scheme, heard of Charles Ponzi? We have done an episode on it in the
Yeah.
past, right?
Yeah.
It started off as an arbitrage opportunity. Okay,
Oh, did
so in those days, people used to write letters and they would stick stamps on the letter and they would post it.
Him calling it those days makes me sad because this is basically my childhood he's talking about. And his childhood also. What am I saying? Those days.
But to send international letters, you needed international stamps, which were expensive.
They were.
The international community came up with a very interesting idea.
Huh.
What they said was that you have something called international reply coupon.
Okay.
Okay, so if a business in US sends a letter to somebody in Italy to a customer, and they want the customer to reply, right? They don't want the customer to have to spend money for replying. There used to be these business reply envelopes. Now something similar was there, right? But the US business needs to be able to buy international stamps in Italy and so on.
Correct.
So the international community came up with a standard concept called international reply coupon that you can buy in any country and use in any country.
Okay.
Now the tricky part is that US is a rich country. There, the international reply coupon costs more.
Yeah.
Whereas Italy is a poorer country and it costs much less in Italy.
Correct.
And now suddenly there is arbitrage because exactly the same thing is usable in both places. And what Charles Ponzi figured out was that he could buy cheap international reply coupons in Italy, ship them to the US, sell them in US.
Wait, they were cheaper than the cost of buying in Italy plus shipping.
Well, so there we will come to that, okay? Shipping, when you do it in bulk, does cost very little per unit. In fact, in another episode, we will discuss how shipping an apple from New Zealand to here adds very little to the cost of that apple.
What?
But we'll come back to that. Okay, what Charles Ponzi figured out.
If we've already had that episode ready, you will see a link in the description. If not, keep watching this space. Yeah. Like and subscribe for more, etc.
One problem here is that first you need to have money to buy in the first place.
Right. Because this is a numbers game, this is a volume game.
Right, you need to buy a large amount and then here you have to sell it and you make money.
Correct.
And usually if you had a large amount, then you wouldn't be trying to make money like this, right? So where do you get the large amount of money from?
You get a loan from someone?
And because this is risk-free money, loans are much easier.
Correct.
But Ponzi didn't even do that. What he did was he just pitched it as a business opportunity to customers. He said, you give me $10,000.
I will give you 15,000 back.
Right?
Or whatever amount of money back.
He said, I will double the investment in 90 days. Right? So he would take $10,000 from so many people, take all of it, buy a large amount of international reply coupons in Italy, ship it to the US, sell it, and from the proceeds, give them double their money back in 90 days.
Wow.
Right?
Okay.
So that's
basically... He was making way more than double. Wow.
Correct. So we will come to that later. But basically you understand the idea. The same thing, an international reply coupon, which can be used to send an international letter from any country to any country,
was cheaper in Italy, expensive in the US.
Two different prices in two different places, and there was an opportunity called arbitrage. And Charles Ponzi tried to take it.
There was an opportunity to buy low and sell high, and he did that.
Let me take another recent example. Okay. Bitcoin. Okay. You get a Bitcoin in India, Bitcoin in US, Bitcoin in Japan. It's the same thing. It can be used from anywhere. I mean, you can do blockchain transactions from anywhere in the world.
Correct.
Right? But for some reason, like 5 years ago, there were the Bitcoin prices in the US were around $10,000, but in Korea it was around $15,000. In Japan also it was a little like 12,000 or something like that. Okay. And the reason being that there were laws in Japan and Korea against having too many Bitcoin and doing transactions in Bitcoin, because of which it was more difficult to deal with Bitcoin there, right? So this was called the kimchi premium, by the way. Okay.
Slightly racist.
Yes.
But okay.
Racist names are the most memorable, right? So it was called the kimchi premium.
That is one of the reasons they're racist is no.
So one guy at the age of 29 became a billionaire by taking advantage of this arbitrage. He would buy Bitcoin in US, sell it in Japan. Well, in Korea for a little while, then he gave up. Then he started doing it in Japan. Sell it in Japan and pocket the difference. Okay. But do you know the name of this person who became a billionaire at 29 by doing Bitcoin arbitrage?
Wait, is it that FTX guy?
Yes, Sam Bankman-Fried, SBF of FTX.
Wow,
right?
That is how he became. Of course they became a billionaire. But hold on a sec. These are all international examples you're giving.
You want an India example?
Of course I want an India example, because Indians are honest that way, no?
Yes, of course. So I have a great example. Okay. So you might have heard of FoodPanda. Okay.
Oh, yes.
It was an ordering app similar to Swiggy and Zomato.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now FoodPanda had gotten investment from a venture capitalist. Okay. So now they want to grow their business very fast. What is one good way of growing business very fast? To get new users.
Give out lots of discounts.
Correct. So they had a 30% discount. You order from any restaurant and you get a 30% discount for using FoodPanda instead of going to the restaurant. Okay, so let's say you order $1,000 worth of 1,000 rupees worth of stuff.
I was worried if he was ordering $1,000 worth from FoodPanda.
No, we're coming to that. Okay, so 1,000 rupees worth of stuff if you order from like a Delhi kitchen. Okay.
Local restaurant in Pune.
You pay, well, no, it was in Delhi. This was happening
There's also
more
Delhi
in Delhi.
kitchen in Pune.
Yeah,
but anyway, this was happening in Delhi.
This actually happened in Delhi. Okay,
okay.
And you'll know why it happened in Delhi more than in Pune. So you order 1,000 rupees worth.
बंद करवाएगा channel ये.
You pay 700 to FoodPanda. What is the restaurant expecting?
700.
No, the restaurant is expecting 1,000.
Correct.
So FoodPanda takes 300 from their pot of money that the VC gave, adds it to the 700, gives it to the restaurant.
Correct.
Okay, that's how the whole system works.
Correct.
And as long as that pot of VC money is there, the system works.
Correct.
Now, Delhi people, at least there are some Delhi people, okay, who when they see an arbitrage opportunity, they jump on it.
Listen, so we have to make it clear that it's not just Delhi people, it's people.
Okay, yes.
People.
All over the world. Examples are there from everywhere.
Yes.
But this is what they did. Okay. Create a fake restaurant which doesn't exist. Okay. There is a menu which is added to FoodPanda.
Okay.
From there, now you sit at your computer, you order 1,000 rupee worth of stuff from this restaurant. FoodPanda sends the order to the restaurant saying so and so person has ordered it, please deliver it to so and so location. You send back, wait half an hour, then send back a message to FoodPanda saying yes, food has been delivered. Okay.
FoodPanda didn't have its own people.
No, well, I mean, this is a asset light business, right? That the restaurant
has its own delivery people and does its own delivery. For example,
and whatnot. Even today, if you order from Domino's on Swiggy, Domino's delivers, Swiggy doesn't deliver.
Correct,
so different deals are
asset light, that's called.
Yes,
okay,
right?
fine.
Because you don't have to.
I'm learning entrepreneurship and business also with FutureIQ.
Yes.
You learn everything with FutureIQ.
Yes.
Wow. You also learn to not wave your hands. Go on.
Right. So now, what this person has done, okay, is took 700 rupees from their pocket, give it to FoodPanda. FoodPanda added 300 rupees of the VC money and returned it to the restaurateur, which is the same guy.
50% profit. More roughly 50% profit. Because 700 plus 300. Right?
At one time, there were 400 fake restaurants on FoodPanda doing this.
I'm not surprised.
Okay. But basically this can be done because there is an arbitrage.
Correct. Right? It's an arbitrage opportunity where you are buying food at 700 but getting back $1,000.
Correct. Exactly.
Yeah. So, wonderful.
Yeah. So arbitrage opportunities, that's a whole bunch of them. I can give you more examples, right?
Yeah.
Now imagine that there is some local store here in Pune in Aund. Okay. And he's going out of business and selling, say, these Mattel toy cars at 30% discount.
Oh, okay.
Right? You see this and you see this as an opportunity. Right?
Absolutely.
You buy from him and then you put it online on Amazon or eBay. Lots of people did it, sold things like this on eBay. Whenever there is a discount scheme going on somewhere, you buy it from the retailer, put it online and sell it online. Early days of eBay, lots of people made money this because they saw arbitrage opportunities, because the online price was at some level, and if someone somewhere saw an offline price lower than that, they used the opportunity and made money, right?
Absolutely.
Let me give you some more fun examples of arbitrage, right?
Okay.
Whiskey. If you try to buy a whiskey in Maharashtra versus in Goa or any alcohol, it is much cheaper in Goa. Do you know why?
Because excise duties are different in the two states.
Exactly.
Maharashtra has a much higher excise duty on alcohol.
I'm sure you have friends. If ever they go to Goa, they'll just load up on liquor bottles and bring them back to Maharashtra. Right?
There is a hitch. They don't really bring them back because they get caught and stopped in the middle.
I thought you were saying they don't bring them back because they buy it on the way, just drink them all.
No comments on that, but typically on the border they are stopped and then the bottles are counted and all of that happens.
So we'll
wait, you are making my friends out to be drunk people, Naveen. Are you a drunk person?
No. I'm making your friends out to be smart people who sell it after they come to Maharashtra and pocket the difference, right? That's arbitrage.
Yeah, but there is the risk of them. Those
so
bottles
we'll come to the risks. Okay, but let me finish with one more very interesting example. Okay. So imagine there is an India-Pakistan World Cup match happening. Okay. And both teams seem evenly balanced. One has better batting, another has better bowling, and so on. Right. Now there is betting going on.
Correct.
Okay.
Always.
Now the betting shops in India think India is going to win because that's what all their customers are betting for on. Right. So what happens is that the odds are such that the Indian betting shops say that you give us 100 rupees and if you bet on India winning, then we will, and India actually wins, you'll get back 150.
Correct.
Whereas if you bet on Pakistan winning and Pakistan actually wins, you get back 250. And of course, if your bet doesn't come true, you get nothing. They keep the 100 rupees, right?
Correct.
Now, if it is like this, pay 100, get 150 for India, 250 for Pakistan. There is no way you can make risk-free money doing this, right? I mean, if you know beforehand Pakistan is going to win or even India is going to win,
you can make money.
But if you don't know beforehand, there is a good chance you will lose.
That is what the odds are for.
Right? Yeah. That's what the odds are for. There's no risk-free way of making money.
Correct.
In Pakistan, however, the sentiment is exactly the opposite. Okay, so the Pakistan betting shops are saying, give us 100. If Pakistan wins and you have, that's what you bet on, you get back 150. The numbers for India are 250. So if you bet on India and India wins,
exactly the opposite scenario because they are expecting.
Now, as soon as this happens, you can see that there is an arbitrage opportunity here.
Absolutely.
Can you see how you can make 100% guaranteed way of making money by this?
Bet on the opposite team in the other country. Just, in
Let's
India bet on Pakistan, in Pakistan bet on India, same amount.
No, so very simple example. You put 100 rupees here in India and say Pakistan will win. You put 100 rupees in Pakistan and say India will win.
And you get beaten up from both countries.
It's worth it because you get 250 rupees, right?
Let me see. Is 250 rupees worth a beating? No.
No. If you know anything about betting, you know that you are going to borrow 10 crore rupees and put it and then get 25 crores back. Okay.
This guy speaks in numbers that are alien to me. 10 crores, he says.
No,
10.
Just let's make sure we understand the maths, right?
Yeah.
You put 100 here, you put 100 there. If India wins, okay, this money goes away. The one in India goes away 0, but you get 250 from Pakistan.
Correct.
On an investment of 200. If the opposite happens, the Pakistan money goes away, but in India, you get 250 on an investment of 200. So 50
rupees profit straight out.
A better way of saying it is that it is 25% profit risk-free in one day. You want to annualize that return?
No, I don't know. I don't. It's just that India and Pakistan don't play matches every single day of 365 days. So the annualized return will be a different calculation. They are not getting into the math of it.
What would be the moral of this story?
Don't bet or you get beaten up.
Well, no,
unless you want to get beaten up.
Right?
It's absolutely worth it.
No. The point is that the odds will never really be like this.
That's okay. Yeah.
Right? Because someone somewhere will figure this out and they will make money. Right? There are enough hawala stuff going on across India, Pakistan also. So it means that whenever there is a arbitrage opportunity like that, by arbitrage I mean same thing, 2 different prices in 2 different locations, and then someone can exploit that opportunity and make risk-free money. Then someone will make risk-free money. And they will keep doing that until the opportunity goes away. Why will the opportunity go away, by the way?
Because somebody will exploit it to a point where the opportunity will no longer be feasible for either one of the 2 parties involved in the transaction.
Exactly. See, if you are making risk-free money, then somebody is losing money, getting nothing in return.
Correct.
At some point, that person will either raise their prices or go out of business.
Yep.
Correct? So, that is the basic moral of today's episode, that there are no arbitrage opportunities that you can just go and exploit like that, right? If you
or more like there are never permanent arbitrage opportunities. There are sometimes temporary arbitrage opportunities if you manage to step in at the right time. Like Sam Bankman-Fried managed to step in at the right time. The FoodPanda scammers managed to step in at the right time.
So before that, let's talk about, I mean, I've been saying that, this is a risk-free way of making money. Usually, if an arbitrage opportunity is there and it hasn't disappeared by the time you noticed it, it means that it is not risk-free. There is something you're missing, right? Let's take all our earlier examples and make sure we understand what the issue is, right? So why are the liquor prices different in Maharashtra and Goa? Because excise is different, but it also means that it is illegal to transport liquor from Goa to Maharashtra.
Which is why Goa can keep their prices low and Maharashtra can keep their prices high.
Otherwise, I mean, entire businesses would be set up just to buy everything in Goa and then bring it to Maharashtra and sell it. Goa would be left with no alcohol.
which is not a very good idea.
It is illegal, which means that people who try to take like caseloads of alcohol across the border, every once in a while they get caught by the border police and those guys confiscate the entire lot and then you end up losing far more than you were making. Right? That's the risk.
Hasn't happened to me. I'm just never mind, go on.
The liquidity kimchi premium, that SBF, right? We already hinted at that, right? There were a whole bunch of little things there that were slightly illegal and painful, and SBF, being the kind of person he is, sort of managed those things. Nobody else wanted to do it that way.
In the long term, these things don't get managed.
Right, exactly.
Properly. Anyway.
Another example, we go back to Charles Ponzi.
What happened there? Because as far as I can see, it was a clean thing.
So one thing you brought up yourself, right, which is that you have to ship it from there to there. There is a cost. I said it's low, but still there is some cost. So the transaction costs, shipping costs, the costs, overheads of getting it from that place, bringing it here and selling it, those you have to take into account. So for example, the bhindi in my locality in Aund costs far more than the bhindi in market yard.
Correct.
Why? Because for people who don't know, market yard is the wholesale market in Pune. Okay. If I went and bought bhindi in market yard, I would make money, right?
Absolutely.
But then I have to take it from there, I have to transport it to Aund, and then I have to try to sell it in Aund. And if I don't manage to sell everything by the end of the day, the parts that I didn't sell are wasted.
Correct.
So I have to also account for the wastage. Correct. And usually that wastage will
be a significant amount.
And of course, I can't sell it unless I sit there for one whole day with that basket, and I have to account for the dollar
value of your time,
dollar value of my time, right? So there are overheads. Although in Bitcoin it's easier, but
correct. So, but still, there were significant overheads both in Bitcoin and in Charles Ponzi's scheme.
Well, in Ponzi's case, the overhead wasn't the money needed for shipping. Although there was some of it, because
what was the overhead?
When you bring it here, you have to actually sell so many. I mean, if you buy like the entire year's output of postage stamps from Italy, and then you want to sell it in 1 month in the US, that's not going to happen.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
Because more and more people are investing in your scheme because you are doubling the money in 90 days.
But you can't keep that up.
You can't keep buying more and more of those postage stamps. You're going to run out of postage stamps. You're going to run out of people to sell it to. And now you're left with a godown full of postage stamps that you can't sell to anyone, right? So similar to the bhindi wasted at the end of the day, there are postage stamps wasted at the end of the day, right?
Okay.
Which is, how did he solve this problem, by the way?
He got more and more people to invest and then took money from X to pay Y and then took money from Y to pay Z. That is
what is called a classic Ponzi scheme. We have done an episode on that. Check it out. That's not the point of this episode, so we move on.
Yes.
But the general thing I want to point out is that if the prices of the same thing, you have two different prices in two different places, there is either overhead costs of if you buy from here and sell it here, there is an overhead cost.
Correct.
Transaction costs, or there is a risk, right?
Correct.
And the people who are buying at a higher price here are paying the higher price because they don't want to pay take that risk, right?
Correct.
Someone else is taking the risk, and that's why they're getting the money, right? So that is the main episode. In most cases, if you see different prices, assume that there is risk or transaction costs that you are missing. Message 1 is that if you see same thing at two different prices in two different places, assume that you are missing some transaction or costs or overheads, or you're missing some risk, right? The risk could be in terms of spoilage, it could be in terms of legal something, it could be in terms of whatever, right?
Whatever.
Risk is there. Conversely, or looking at it from a different angle, if somebody is giving you something for much cheaper, right? Or buying something from you at much higher rate than what otherwise would be, right? Again, clearly there is an arbitrage opportunity there somehow, and it is very likely that they are lying, right? Example, if someone promises you 20% guaranteed return on investment per year.
Think of Charles Ponzi.
Right? Forget Charles Ponzi, right? There is a simple arbitrage opportunity here. You borrow from a bank at 8% and give it here for 20% and pocket the 12% difference, right?
Correct.
And free money like this never exists, which means that the person promising you 20%
is doing so at a higher risk.
Either there is a full risk that this person won't be able to pay you back, or there is some hidden charge that you are not aware of. Right? So that should be your first and primary thought. Not that, oh my God, I'm getting free. Right?
Hold on one sec. There are several banks that are offering much higher
absolutely
FD rates.
Same concept, right? As in my well-known bank, Kotak or HDFC or SBI or ICICI, they are offering, let's say, 8%.
6 more like, but true.
And the Nashik People's Cooperative Bank is offering 3% higher.
We don't know if Nashik People's Cooperative exists, and if
it does exist, and it does offer higher. It did offer higher.
Okay.
My dad put money into it. My uncle put money into it because of the 3% extra. Clearly, there is an arbitrage opportunity here. Someone somewhere could have just borrowed from here, put here, and pocketed the difference and become very rich. But the reason that nobody important did that is because there was a higher risk with Nashik People's, right? And sure enough, one day Nashik People's was frozen by RBI, and that money got stuck for years with people not being sure of whether they're going to get their money back or not. Ultimately, I think everyone got their money back, but that was after it being stuck in limbo for many years until some other bank came and rescued Nashik People's Bank, right? This happens regularly.
If there is an arbitrage opportunity, it means there is an overhead cost, a transaction cost, or some hidden cost that you don't know of, or there is some risk.
This was the risk.
Yeah, so much to think about in terms of arbitrage. Don't just go blindly to buy low and sell high. Think of what it actually means to buy low and what are the costs before you can sell high. All kinds of costs.
A third kind of cost there could simply be opportunity cost, right? As in, just to get that lower cost, you might have to travel somewhere and come back. And what else could you be doing in that extra time that you wasted, right? So check out our episode on opportunity cost also.
Very good. We are ending with an episode reference, which basically means that you get to see that episode next. Go ahead, enjoy that episode on opportunity costs. If it is already ready, we'll have a link in the description, or it might be lined up for you next. Thank you so much for watching this episode. Shrikant, Naveen, FutureIQ.